35. That is the number of goals scored in the Serie A this weekend as compared to some of the other top teams, which are called the attacking leagues, the fun leagues, the ones that have all the goals. Mike, ask me one of the leagues.
Premier League.
22 goals.
Bundesliga.
24 goals.
Turkish League.
La Liga. 25 goals. Even without Lazio's 10 goals, that is still 10 more than the others. Can we really call Serie A a defensive league?
No, I think it's an attacking league now that knows how to play defense. To give me a reason now to watch a Serie A.
Guys, welcome to Italian Football TV. This is our different type of video, different style, different format. We're going to sit on that couch and bring you a full recap of everything that happened in the Serie A this weekend. Ready?
Let's go.
Let's do Juventus, Torino,
the derby.
The derby della Mole. It was a very interesting game. We spoke a little bit about this one, but the way that Torino were able to get the 1-0 in this match through an insane free kick from Adam Ljajic, I definitely didn't expect it. Michael and I almost bet $1,000 that we don't have, that he wasn't even going to score that free kick.
It was from that free kick, yeah. I should have shook your hand on that.
It was freaking amazing. But man, Torino really pushed Juventus to the edge on this game.
No, I completely agree. I could say, like, they were so solid. Torino this season, we could say how leaky their defense was.
And shaky.
The
entire team.
Exactly, the entire team. But most of the defense, because they have a good scoring rate. But Moretti and Orsettini, they were complete rocks, bossing the whole defense and making sure Juve don't attack. But to be fair, Juve didn't play their 100% their squad because, Champions League, and they got to rest some players.
It was the first time that that Higuain hasn't played in 24 games in a row, that he started on the bench. But for the most part, in the derby, everything goes out the window.
That's true, you're right.
Everyone wants this game. For Torino, this is more important than a lot of other achievements that you can achieve in the Serie A, especially playing at the Juventus Stadium. There's a lot to prove. The Superga disaster's anniversary was a few days before this game. And there's a lot riding on this one. And I think that Juventus had loads and loads and loads and loads and loads of chances, and they still couldn't put the ball in the back of the net. So how can you complain when Torino do it with fewer chances, get the ball in the back of the net? But the big turning point in this match definitely was, the elephant in the room is that Aqua red card, the sending off that he received, where he got the ball, but he was given a second yellow card after a first yellow card that was pretty sent off with 30-35 minutes to go in the match, and completely changed, not even completely because Torino kept playing, but it definitely affects the team.
No, because he plays defensive midfield.
Before we get into this, for you, is it a sending off?
No.
It's not a sending off?
No.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
I think for Aqua, what the thing was, he got the ball, he touched the ball first, right? He might have made contact afterwards, but that's just an impact of your body making it. The first touch was all the ball. Afterwards, you can't control where your body's going to land.
That's not the argument. That's not the argument. The argument is that he went in dangerous, that he went in with the studs up. And I personally, I'm a Juventus fan, but I believe that he should not have been sent off. I believe that it's not a yellow card. I believe that he got the ball. Yeah, it was a little bit rough, but it also reminds me of a Mandzukic challenge earlier in the first fixture of this one, where he also got a yellow card. And for me, they're both wrong. But I see this fine line of where it could be debatable. And in my opinion, it shouldn't be debatable. The rules shouldn't be debatable. Either it's a yellow card or a red card, or that's it. It's no interpretation. But unfortunately, we have this gray area where there is open to interpretation. And for me, Aqua should not have been sent off. 9 times out of 10, I believe that he wouldn't have been sent off for this one.
It was a tough angle. From where the ref was standing, and he was behind it. It's not like he was in front of it too. It looked like a very bad tackle. Like we have the beauty of seeing the replays and stuff, and this is why football needs replays, because stuff like this.
He's got his other assistants that could help him, and no one helps.
I don't understand.
No, why don't we utilize the fourth official, the guy that's standing on the sideline? We should be helping if they get a different angle, but unfortunately we don't. Yeah. Mihajlovic was pissed. Mihajlovic got inside everyone's face. He was sent off. He went upstairs to watch the game with Torino's president, and rightly so. I believe, from his angle especially, when you could see that he clearly gets the ball, you got to understand, even putting yourself in that perspective, in that position, that why he would be upset.
No, I definitely agree. And Ljajic also had something to say. He said, "We fought so hard. We never stopped running. It sucks to not have gotten a win. to me, it wasn't even a foul, let alone a yellow card. So yeah, I mean, you can see his frustration. He was running his ass off the whole game, and we saw his beautiful goal.
And Mihajlovic did the same thing though. Mihajlovic, after the match, he actually called out Vialli, Juventus legend. He talks on Sky, and Vialli says that he saw why it should be sent off, and he went off on him. He's like, tell me, explain to me how you could do this. He's like, I don't understand your opinion. You shouldn't have said that, blah, 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 blah. But I guess we can see different interpretations. A lot of Juventus fans saying that it should have been a sending off. I could see what they mean on that, but for me, personally, it's not a sending off.
No, it's not. I know, it seemed like a dangerous.
How much are we going to keep talking about it?
Yeah, we can't talk anything more about it. Like I said, they need...
Torino deserved more in this match. Torino deserved more in this match. Gonzalo Higuain, an absolute phenomenon. I mean, this guy comes in with the touch of a ball. He knows how to change the game. We've seen it so many times in this position to finish us in the 92nd minute with just minutes left. The only type of person that could do this is a champion. With all the weight on your shoulders, with everyone mad, with Torino about to break history to beat Juventus at the Juventus Stadium, and then to salvage a point from this game where you missed a million chances and then you score on one of your hardest ones. I mean, this is Juventus to a T. This is the Fino alla Fine model. This is the team under Allegri fighting into the last second, always believing, not being able to capitalize on your chances, yet still capitalizing when it matters.
No, I agree with you.
It's crazy.
Mean, you can always fight. Juve never played the most attractive football, you could say.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, they get the most important thing, and they always go for the win. It's very, very hard for them to lose. And like I said, if they didn't play their full squad, like we said before, but we all know how good Higuain came off the bench, and they did miss a bunch. You saw Dybala's chance on Joe Hart.
Yeah, I know. I mean, no, like you said, so wasteful. Mandzukic was wasteful. Everyone was wasteful in this match. Bonucci.
Oh man, he had two chances.
Which one? Oh my God, that triple chance that he was there. He was doing that because Belotti, his son, would have not been friends with him.
Right?
Wouldn't have liked him if he did that. Yeah, Belotti was also wearing a special captain's armband to the Superga disaster. It said all of the names of everyone who passed away in this tragedy. I just want to throw that in there. It was great. Belotti really proving why. Yeah, he's not at the top of the Capocannoniere chart, but the way that he freaking works his ass off. There is no stat in football. There is no stat in football to put together what he does for a team. It is seen with the Italian national team. It is seen with Torino. He fought against a strong Juventus side, put his body on the line. He definitely has bruises. He's definitely walking off limping. But guess what? He put his team before him.
The amount of fouls he got for his team, he was holding up the ball.
That little hunchback helps him freaking knock off all the plays. He's got a serious hunchback.
He has a hunchback. He's strong though. Like when he gets a ball, it's so hard to get away from.
He's 22, man. He's 22.
Imagine a couple more years.
Freaking crazy. He's unbelievable. Mihajlovic criticizes him a little. He said that he's been on a little route because he's too consumed with that Capocannoniere chart, especially at a young age. You know, it's understandable to want that, especially with Torino now fighting for Europe, now fighting for Scudetto. So you want that something there, and Torino's season being so, what's the thing, like a bouncing between, like sometimes they're doing really good and then sometimes they're doing really bad, you know, losing important points. But today against Juventus, they really proved a lot, massive credit to them. They really, as a Juventus fan, Torino deserved more, but also as a Juventus fan, we've seen this many times where the team really deserves more, but Juve just have that insane, sickening belief to believe until the last second, and that's the reason they're going on to win their sixth consecutive Scudetto.
It's true for sure. I did feel bad for Torino a little bit, just because they gave 100%, but at the end of the day, that's what happens. Great teams like Juventus can steal it at the last second.
Okay, what game do you want to go to next?
Okay, I want to talk about the Napoli game.
Napoli, I mean, it was pretty straightforward for me. Napoli, what was it, 3-1 against Cagliari. Dries Mertens on his 30th birthday put in 2 bangers. This guy is not a center forward. He's moved to this position this year, and man, does he score some goals. Amazing.
He did score amazing goals, and they scored so early. Rastelli, Cagliari's coach, was like, we had a tactics, but that went out the window as soon as they scored from the second minute. For the second minute, so it was an uphill battle from there. Then he said 2-0, close the call. You can't do anything.
24 goals for Mertens this season?
24
I
goals.
Think it's 24 goals.
Yes, that's right.
Right behind Belotti and Dzeko. Those are 2 center forwards we're talking about. Mertens was never a center forward. Pushed into this role because of the fantastic players like Callejon and Insigne. Insigne did get on the score sheet again today. Some beautiful Napoli, or the hashtag Saudi football, you know, moving out of possession, getting the job done and really cementing their position in that second place for the time being before the Roma match, getting the job done, but unfortunately it doesn't always lie in their hands. And I wish we would have been seeing this Napoli, who is more effective, like Juventus style.
More effective in terms of those big or small games where they mess up, mostly small games, because that's where it really gets them. A couple we see through this through their Serie A history, they stumbled upon a few draws that are questionable, that they weren't efficient with their chances. Now they're getting a lot of chances, but there's always those games that they just can't score. You know,
and that's the difference between second and third place. That's the difference between first and second place. You know, we know this. It's the devil is in the details. Yes, they are a top 3 team 100%. In my opinion, they are a second place team. They are better than Roma, but the stats will not lie. Roma been, while they're wasteful, I guess they've been more effective. They're only 1 point difference, but they've been more effective than Napoli. I still believe that Napoli are going to end in second place.
I mean, I think Napoli has the most attractive football. They did score over 100 goals in all competition this season. That just says everything. If you didn't watch the Napoli game, you guys are missing out, because that trio up top is amazing.
The thing that stands out to me so much is that under Maurizio Sarri is a genius. Honestly, the way that his players know where the ball is going to go before the ball is there, they have an understanding and a capacity of the game that is beautiful to see on a deep level, but they are also extremely inexperienced at many times. Like I feel like they're still not there where they can handle the game when it matters most.
When it's 0-0, I feel like they miss an element when it's really needed, like the extra goal.
It's missing a year or two until they're really there, until they could freaking compete. If they continue at this building stage, instead of selling players, if they could keep the same squad, they've got 13 players that are extremely young in the side, and that is an advantage to them. We knew this year they're not going to compete for the Scudetto, let's be honest. Juventus is still ahead of them. But they could keep narrowing this gap and have an advantage by all of these young players who are gaining extremely good experience being in the top 3 team and playing in the Champions League. And I think there's only further time for them to build, and they need to focus extremely on getting that second place instead of qualifying for the Champions League, because then your season starts in July, then everything starts out on a tougher foot, and things become more complicated.
I mean, you gotta look at it this way: they have so much potential.
And renew Mertens. Keep Mertens for. Don't sell him.
He's a beast. You also got to consider Napoli doing so well, considering they lost Higuain and Milik. So those are 2 huge headaches that Sarri had to face. But look at Mertens right now. He's close to the top with Dzeko.
And playing in a position he's never played before.
Playing as a false 9, something he had to adapt to. So it was a huge achievement.
And he's living with some problems right now. You know, the whole divorce apparently with his wife. Then we saw his wife. They were together. No one knows what's going on, if it's an excuse. But he definitely has off-the-field problems, and that definitely affects a player, and it's something that no one takes into account.
No, I definitely agree. We all know Napoli play attractive football. You know who else plays attracting football? Lazio. And do you know what the score was today for Lazio against Sampdoria?
10 freaking goals.
They scored 7 goals. I think they scored most of that in the first half. And then Sampdoria, what could you do from that point on?
What you could do is applaud Lazio and Simone Inzaghi. What he's done with this team is incredible. The way that he's built up even Keita Balde. I mean, Keita Balde looks like such a different, more mature, more experienced, more playing for the team type of player for me in my eyes since seeing him last year. And it's Simone Inzaghi. I mean, he took a team who had a rough moment. When you think you're getting a coach like Bielsa, you have one coach, right? Then you say you're getting Bielsa. Then Bielsa retires, leaves after a day or 2, and then you get this guy who's an afterthought. And this afterthought is freaking securing officially after today's win a European spot. That is beautiful to see.
Can we give a little clap to my boy Simone Inzaghi, and not just only Inzaghi. Who else did good?
People Inzaghi.
People Inzaghi doing some.
What a day to be an Inzaghi.
It is.
Their mom and dad must be very proud.
We all know he's with Venezia, and they got promoted to Serie B. But back to Simone over here, he deserves an award or something. He has to be the most undervalued, underestimated coach in the Serie A, he needs more praise.
It shows how great Italian coaches are, honestly. If you look around the world, look who's winning. Massimo Carrera today won the Russian league.
That's right.
First time in 12 years that Spartak Moscow has won a freaking league title. That gives me goosebumps thinking about how great they are. Ancelotti at Bayern secured it. Conte is securing it. Allegri in the Champions League, going to the final, very close to going there. I mean, the depth of great Italian coaches is almost taken advantage of. Even with this, Lazio story is not being shared by many. Most are not covering it. They're all looking at these English teams, the Spanish teams. But if you follow Serie A, you know how great Simone Inzaghi has done with Lazio.
No, I agree with you for sure. Now I got a question for you. Do you think if they did have Bielsa, they'd be having this good of a season? Be honest. I say no.
I think no.
Right?
I think
How
no.
could you beat this?
I don't know. It's hard to do much better.
Okay, in front of them is Napoli. There's no way, even if you brought Ancelotti, I don't think with Lazio, I don't think you could top Napoli in that.
I agree with you.
He's doing the best he could, I think.
With the players that he has?
For sure. With the disaster they were doing at the Mercato, there was so much chaos. That's why I said they're going to end 15th place. They proved me wrong and so many other people wrong.
With such an unexperienced bunch of players, like players that have never been there to compete for a Champions League spot or Europa League spot. I mean, Ciro Immobile has been sensational. I never thought that Ciro Immobile would be scoring this many goals. He scored 2 in this game.
He had 21 goals.
He's doing amazing. I mean, there's nothing but applause that we can give this man. There's nothing but applause that we can give Lazio. The only thing that we have to say is that we hope that they continue. They do not sell their players. They reinforce. Inzaghi is going to stay with them, and they don't do what every Italian team is known to do in the Europa League. As far as Sampdoria, we know where their season is headed. We love Sampdoria. Sampdoria's got a special place in our heart. Quagliarella scoring 2 goals makes us so happy. But to see this, they're at that point where we keep saying at the end of the season with 3-4 games left, where you're not making Europe, you're not getting relegated, you're just basically there. And they have, and one of the extremely bright spots of the Sampdoria season is their young talent who is taking the stage and going to be on a European level, a European radar level extremely soon. That's the positive that you need to take away from Sampdoria.
No, Sampdoria, we all know they're a great squad. They are building. I mean, we all know Muriel is still injured, so...
Yeah. That's true.
He actually was on the bench today, so in the future they're definitely going to use him, but that was a big blow for them for sure.
I mean, yeah, it is a big blow, and Giampaolo will continue working. We know that he's good with these young players, and Muriel being out did open the door for a guy like Patrick Schick, who was hiding underneath and just, again, proves how deep the Serie A is with the level of talent that is hidden below the surface. What game you want to go to next?
Okay.
Did we do Genoa-Inter?
No.
Let's do Genoa-Inter. Honestly, I don't know what to say. I don't know what to say.
You know why I don't know what to say? Because Genoa were doing horrible. Literally horrible. Their past, 10-15 games.
Judic went off crying because he did so bad.
In like, a 2-week period, a 1-week period, and they managed to beat Inter this time.
I'm done with Inter. I'm done with them. I try to believe I was completely wrong that they were going to do better than Milan. They have not impressed me. The players do not want to play under Stefano Pioli. Pioli does not have the support of the team. It's a joke that these players are professionals and they're performing the way that they're performing.
I get what you're saying for there.
No.
No. I agree with what you're saying. But I'm looking at Pioli now. He knows he's getting replaced.
Everyone knows.
The players know. Everyone knows. And I feel like Pioli was like, man, what's the point of me trying anymore? He's mad. He's depressed. His post-match comments were pretty bad too. His excuse was the Inter players didn't move. The strikers didn't move.
He said that?
There wasn't any movement. That's what he said.
Okay, he took out Icardi. When it was such a crucial moment, 1-0, what did he say about that? Did he reply on that?
No, I didn't see any match comments on that. He was just
saying that they didn't move. It was definitely an attack. He was mad at Icardi. Why else would he take him out?
It had to be something because it probably targeted towards him. That I guess he wasn't moving. He wasn't coming back in defense. But I thought Genoa played a very solid game, and Inter no hunger for them. And Candreva did get a penalty at the end. And Lamana saved it, actually.
How about the controversy on that one? Apparently, Gabigol, who finally is freaking, okay, we saw him with Neymar's sister. He's got a girlfriend over there. He comes on. He wanted to take the penalty, apparently. And then freaking Candreva takes it. Candreva, who's been a disaster of a season, he comes on and he makes it even worse by missing the penalty.
Whenever there's controversy, there should always be a penalty taker, and there shouldn't be ifs, ors, and buts about it. And now Candreva's with Inter, while his former team Lazio is in Europe, while Inter, it doesn't look like they're going to make Europa League.
Credit to Genoa, they're fighting to avoid relegation. There was just a little bit of a scare with that. But Judic, he's a great guy. I really believe in Judic. I think that he's got good things for Genoa. Never deserved to be sacked. But
he did say he's very emotional, but he's tough. So I'm sure this win is gonna get him.
What's wrong with Genoa? They can lose some stupid games and some stupid points to almost get to relegation, but then they'll come out and beat an Inter.
They lost to Kiev, we were talking about before, And
Pandev scored against his former team.
Yes, he did score. It was a rebound off of Veloso. Veloso hit a rocket. There was no pressure on Veloso. He hit the crossbar, and Pandev hit it on the rebound.
Last thing I want to say: how can we get Handanovic to wear an IFTV Inter hat?
Did you guys see his hat? Yeah.
He's always wearing the hat. Why not wear an IFTV Inter hat?
I know.
Maybe that'll help them win.
Maybe, who knows? They need something at this point. And I feel like whenever Inter lose, Milan lose, so they're always... The Milan clubs are always together.
Terrible. Simply terrible.
Okay, guys, so the big game this weekend, we got the Milan versus Roma game. Very one-sided.
Very one-sided. Roma winning this one 4-1 against a Milan, which in my opinion really did not show up. I've been giving Milan so much help. I've been supporting them a lot this season, and they continue to let me down. And honestly, it's hard to keep supporting a team which really does not show anything. Besides Donnarumma and maybe a few others, there really is not that much from Milan. Luckily, we've got Matt Sant'Angelo. You guys know him on Twitter. He does a lot covering Milan. So, give us your thoughts on this match, seeing it from a Milan perspective.
So, I mean, obviously everyone knew it was going to be a tough match for Milan for the simple fact that they've been struggling as of late. And then, of course, Roma has aspirations to finish second and actually secure secure a Champions League spot, of course, and avoid the playoff round. So, I obviously knew it was going to be a difficult match for Milan, just for the simple fact that Alessio Romagnoli, their best defender, was out. And again, of course, they haven't been playing too well. So I knew it was going to be difficult, and obviously that was certainly the case from the jump. Just all Roma up and down the pitch, they were just a little bit more hungry, more aggressive, and they were just beating Milan to every 50-50 ball, which obviously doesn't help when you're clinging to European hopes. So unfortunately for Milan, they came in with a pretty bad result, especially at home, of course, which is always disappointing in front of your home fans. But at the same time, they have to be a little bit not optimistic, but stay focused and stay positive that they do hold sixth currently, and they do actually control their own destiny. Next week's going to be a very, very interesting game versus Atalanta, which is one you're going to want to circle on your calendar for sure.
That's a good point, and I definitely agree with that. Roma were more hungry. I mean, I feel like Manolas won every single 50-50 ball today, and that's almost been the story of how Milan's been. Just that hunger is lacking a little bit. What about you, Mike?
No, I definitely agree. I expected so much more from Milan just because, Inter slipped up. They're fighting for Europe, and Roma too. The past few games, they were sloppy. So I gave the edge to Milan on this one, and they didn't show me anything.
And Roma are known for sometimes, not always performing when they need to. And they had that pressure of Napoli already getting that second spot this week, being 2 points ahead. But then they pulled it out, and they came out with a fantastic performance. But like Matt said, the fate of Milan and their Europa League spot definitely lives in their destiny. But one thing that I want to bring up, I want to play devil's advocate on this one. Is a Europa League spot that important? Matt, from my perspective, I'll say my opinion real quick. To me, I don't think so, because a Europa League, let's be honest, the Italian teams do not do good in Europa League. Okay. They're all out. We fail to capitalize on this. We don't take the tournament seriously, and it also takes away from the hopes of where, honestly, let's be honest, Milan and Inter, they want Champions League. We're not going to get excited from the Europa League, at least from my perspective. Matt, what do you think about this?
I mean, there's two ways to look at it. Obviously, for the new ownership, I think it's very important to just be playing in meaningful games in the European competition. And obviously, of course, Europa League would give that to Milan. But as you just mentioned, of course, when we think Milan and Inter, we naturally always think of their Champions League pedigree, and and that's where I do agree with you. If anyone wants, if people want to see Milan and Inter aim for those top three finishes, of course, next year will be top four, which will give them Champions League football. But that's what everyone wants to see, Milan and Inter back in, because that's where they belong.
Yeah.
But on the other side of things, where you said that it's not that big of a deal. Here's where I have a difficult time, taking that. And when you're going into the summer and you have new ownership and, you have this reported bigger budget of 120 million, 130 million, whatever the actual figure is, you want to be in Europe and you want to be playing in significant games, and that's what Europa League would do for Milan. Although it's obviously, if you want to call it like a diet Champions League, the thing that it would do for Milan, and especially on the transfer market aspect of things, it would give clubs the indication that, okay, Milan, this was the first step of getting back to where they want to be as a prominent club in Europe. It's being back in a European competition. I think it would be difficult for Milan and their ownership, for Sone and the like, to convince big name players like a Morata or Aubameyang or a Kessie even, who obviously can choose between Chelsea, who's going to be obviously in the Champions League after winning, potentially pretty much winning the Premier League, and of course Roma has the potential to lock up a number 2 spot in the Champions League. So I think that it's important for Milan to get any type of advantage they can for them, which will, of course, help them attract big-name players, which is what they obviously need based on what we saw today, of course.
I see your point, and I understand that, and I just think, I'm wary of that Sassuolo, Fiorentina, or Inter effect in the Europa League, where they have the ambitions to play in the Europa League, play against some of the top teams, but then realize that across all competitions, if you don't have a deep enough or strong enough squad, it could really affect your Serie A performance. I mean, if I'm not trying to compare Sassuolo and Milan or Fiorentina and Milan, but in this level, we've seen how bad Fiorentina have been, or Sassuolo or Inter at that, and I just think that maybe it's better if, instead of trying to get to the Europa, it's hard to say not to get to the Europa League, but I'm just saying it's not the worst thing, in my opinion, if Milan didn't get there, because they could set their focus solely on that Champions League. But it did happen this season, and they're still not in a Champions League spot, but there definitely is room to hope. Mike, what do you think about it?
I see both points, Matt's and Marco's here, but I think I agree with Matt a little bit more, just because they need that oomph, like you said, Matt. They gotta
that what?
They gotta get ready. They gotta get ready for Champions League. So they need the extra step to show, to show that they're coming back. This is the new Milan, and they gotta invest in more depth. If they jump straight to Champions League with the new squad, it's not the same. I think it's baby steps at a time.
First and foremost, before they get depth, I think that they just need players who play at a Milan capacity. But we're definitely getting into a deeper issue. Matthew, thank you so much for coming on and giving a Milan perspective for this game.
Can I just say one more thing too before
Absolutely.
I think this is also the part of getting back into Europe is also big in not just landing players, but renewing players. I think, if you're not competing for silverware, and of course, obviously with the exception of Coppa Italia and, the Scudetto, that's what Milan wouldn't be competing with without the Europa League. So I think this is a big step for convincing a guy like Donnarumma or Suso to extend. I think if you're not in Europe, it could be a little tricky here, because Raiola, obviously, as you know, is definitely difficult to deal with, and this could be difficult for Milan to convince guys to stay and be part of this thing, because I think it could be good, it could be special in the years to come, but I think they need to see some sort of progression with the team in order for them to commit to this team long term. So that's something that's going to be very interesting to see. But it was a pleasure to talk with you guys, and I look forward to being on again soon.
That's a fantastic point, something I didn't even think about. That's why we have Matthew on the show. He completes it and gives us that full 360 perspective. Again, thank you, Matthew. Roma, 10 times better than this weekend, and he had more to play for too.
And so surprised, talking about Roma, we also brought another fan with us, my boy Wayne Gerard. He's a Roma fan, so he's going to give us his perspective of the match.
And he writes for AS Roma, so he definitely has a different perspective on this one than us two do. Wayne, what were your thoughts on the match?
Oh, this was a great one. I mean, with Roma this season, you never know if you're going to get a Dr. Jekyll or Mr. Hyde. So coming into this, I was like, I'm pretty confident because of Milan's form. But then again, with Roma, you never know which side is really going to show up. But, I liked seeing Emerson at right back in the 4-2-3-1. And Paredes pretty much stepped up in place of Strootman's absence. And Dzeko had a really nice goal.
The first one, right?
He often scored braces like that, but that was a really, that set the tone.
Yeah, that was beautiful. And did you see his bottle flip, Wayne?
I did.
Yes, that was even more impressive than both the goals. That was more impressive than the 27 goals that he scored this year.
That's a hat-trick right there after that flip.
Otherwise, Szczesny, I'm really going to miss him if he doesn't stay. He's been solid. I mean, today is not a good example of what he can do, but he's really showed up. I mean, I was thinking if we didn't have him this year and it was someone less experienced, that there's, we'd really be missing out on, his development at Rome has been really, truly something. He went from being kind of sporadic, haphazard, to a really confident and top 3 keepers in the league, in my opinion. He might even be the top keeper right now.
Whoa!
Let's not get crazy now. Catanese is his first, we all know that.
It's true.
I definitely agree that Roma, you never know which one they're going to get. And that was what made us confused in this one. I actually thought that it was going to be a draw. But man, were Roma strong today.
Yeah.
I mean, Roma really, they wanted this win. They had that pressure of Napoli being 2 points ahead of them. And they said, listen, Napoli's not going anywhere. They're going back to third. And Roma came up to second place. And they really impressed me tonight.
No, for sure. I was leaning towards like a Milan when I thought it was going to be a draw also. But I thought Milan were just more hungry just because Inter slipped up. And Roma, their past few performances, they were very bad. Weren't impressive at all.
Hear this stat, though. It's incredible. In their last 6 away games, Roma have won every single one. It is the first time in their history. How incredible is that?
It doesn't seem like it. I feel like
but that's incredible.
Yeah, it is incredible.
I mean, first time in their history.
Historical.
Yeah, I mean that's really great. And to step up when the time is needed is what really speaks volumes about this. But one thing after the match that really surprised me were Spalletti's comments, and I really want to hear what you have to think, what you think about this, Wayne. I'm sure you heard this before. Mike, you want to read the quote?
Yeah, so Spalletti said, if I could go back, I would never come back to coach Roma. He said he's sick and tired of all these decisions with Totti. All the time that he brings Totti on, if it's like 5 minutes or 10 minutes, and he's always criticized that he needs longer. And if he doesn't bring him in, he still gets criticized, and he doesn't know what to do.
I wasn't expecting this after a huge Roma win. I think if we look back to an interview that we posted on Twitter with Maldini, where he says there's a fine line between being a great player at your club and then being almost like a nuisance. He said that I couldn't accept never sitting on the bench. Maldini says this, but he's saying for Totti, if he could, that's one way. But that's just another perspective on things.
No, yeah, for sure. I feel like Spalletti does get a lot of flack, and it's almost as if he can't please anyone.
To me, it just says that they're not at that level, the mentality-wise or the player-wise, where they can really compete for the Scudetto, in my opinion at least. For me, they're still just a second or third place team at this moment, but tonight's performance definitely was great, and they stepped up when they needed to while they were pushed up against the corner, being in third place. So that definitely says a lot that they're moving in the right direction. But I can feel also Spalletti's, annoyance from always being asked these same kind of questions. But Wayne, thank you so much for coming on and giving us a different perspective.
Thanks, guys. Talk to you soon.
Thanks, man. So yeah, it's exactly what we said. Roma were the better team. Even Montella in his post-match press conference did admit that they were the better team. Sassuolo against Fiorentina, an extremely strange match. Sassuolo, both teams having terrible seasons, first of all, we'll say that. Sassuolo up 2-1, but then at the death, Benedeschi with the curler, getting the 2-2, salvaging what's a bad season for Fiorentina.
I think
what's left of a bad season.
Bad season for both, actually. Yeah. I mean, they were both in Europe, but then...
Underwhelming. Sassuolo set the bar high, and then they underwhelmed. No,
for sure. De Francesco's also talking about his future. He doesn't know what he's going to do. He can take a couple days break. I don't know what's going on. There's so much chaos. And
complete mess from Fiorentina, a team who I remember praising them inside my freaking garage, saying how happy we were about them in Europe, and then with Paulo Sousa, I mean, underperforming, doing terrible, picking up bad results, the list goes on and on. Paulo Sousa definitely leaving Fiorentina at the end of the season. We know he's ambitious, he wants to become a top coach, but it is not happening at Fiorentina.
Okay, so let's talk about a little demotion of Serie B now. So we all knew Pescara was already down to Serie B, and now it was official today that Palermo is going down with them.
No Sicilian teams in the Serie A next season.
I mean, it is terrible. What was the joke that you were saying? Whoever goes to Serie B now, there's always one positive when you go back to Serie B.
They got Diletta Leotta. I don't know if you guys know who she is, but she's a Serie B presenter. We know her from Instagram. I don't know, because the culture's, like, if you're Italian, you definitely know who she is, but I don't know if everyone knows.
That's true. She
now
you know. It's like Italian TV mostly. That's where that she's from. But.
So yeah, Diletta, Foggia had a side. They're from Serie C. They're like, going into Serie B, like, more excited for Diletta announcing their games than anything else. Oh yeah, definitely check out her Instagram. She's a good follow. But yeah, Palermo, she complete mess. I mean, we thought I was stupid enough, naive enough to think that they could maybe save their season, stay in Serie A. But with their new American ownership, Baccaglini, he says he's got a plan to get them out of Serie B. But who knows what's going to happen.
Yeah, I feel bad because we all know Zambarini left and Baccaglini took over. There was also a funny quote with Baccaglini when they asked
he said the closing.
Yeah, for the closing. He says, "When will I close the Palermo deal? The Chinese took 3 years to close a deal. Don't worry, I'll be quicker." I mean, that's pretty funny there. But then again, I'm sure...
A little jab, but then Milan fans jab back, yo, you're in Serie B.
That sure kind of sucks too, you know. He said he was going to do something crazy. He was going to do a tattoo on his head if they stayed in Serie A.
Bro, it's not like it makes a difference. He already got like 8 tattoos on his freaking forehead, so it doesn't matter. Anyway, they're a mess. And Crotone, pretty interesting story. They got a 1-0 win today over Pescara. Not big to beat Pescara, but they're inching their way towards trying to stay in the Serie A, but I think it's a little bit too much too late.
It is. I was thinking, like, because their coach Nicola said that they're going to try till the last game. So I checked their remaining fixtures, and they got to play Udinese. What a tough team.
If they have Carnesi.
If they have Carnesi, of course. Juventus and Lazio, which is tough. And they got to win those games, most of them, and they gotta hope Empoli lose their games, so it's not looking...
Juventus might have the Scudetto clinched.
I know, but Juve and Lazio, they're gonna continue.
Yo, you should have done this freaking weeks ago. You don't wait until 4 games left to start to try playing. Yeah, real mess from Crotone. To me, they deserve Serie B. Empoli have had overall a better season than they did.
And they got a nice stadium, so I want them to stay up.
Oh, sure, yeah, that's true. We want them to stay up, yeah, but sorry, Crotone, you guys are going down. Some extra stuff, Mike. What do we got first?
Yeah, so we got Radu pulling down Lulic's pants after the win.
That was funny.
Pretty funny. What else do we got here? Let's talk about Verratti's goal, the controversial goal he scored.
We can't show the goal because it's not legal.
Yeah.
But Verratti basically took a shot while the goalkeeper wasn't paying attention. He was down on the floor.
Well, he was helping one of the PSG players that was down injured. So then Verratti, like the ref didn't blow his whistle, and Verratti just ripped one from outside the box. Just jumped over the goalkeeper, and he was yelling at Verratti. He was yelling at the ref.
I have a theory. I have a theory to fix this. Verratti, he's a clean, young Italian boy. You can tell he comes from a good family, but that PSG mentality of being average and being a mean person is ingrained into him now. Need a person. Yeah, so we're going all out. That's how we got to convince him to come to Serie A. Come to Juventus, and you'll be a chat. No, come to Juventus, and then we'll fix him up. We'll give him a little preseason, smooth him out, make his hair nice again, and he'll look like a nice young Italian boy. Once again, that was mean of him. It was really bad. He shouldn't have done that.
No,
what else we got?
I mean, let's see. We got to talk about the Benatia incident also.
Benatia, if you didn't know, he was on Rai and he was doing an interview, and then all of a sudden he hears the microphone and he says he heard someone call him a Moroccan shit while he was on live TV. A whole bunch of stuff happened afterwards. The host of the show got really nervous. She's like, uh-oh, technical issues. We're having like interference from the stadium.
At first they were saying, oh, we don't hear anything. Then they were saying, technical issues. It came from the stadium. Then it said, we didn't insult you. Without Benatia saying anything after. So they all heard what was going on. They just tried to cover it.
Hopefully all of the Serie A teams, I believe that all the Serie A teams should stick together and boycott Rai. I mean, I don't want to say this to be something mean to Rai.
You should boycott. They're a professional TV station. They say you can't say that.
Yeah, if it really did happen, I mean, that's crazy and it shouldn't happen. But we have a solution. Come on IFTV after the post-match comments. You guys are all welcome. We're not going to do anything bad. We're just going to make them laugh.
For sure. And I want to talk about Atalanta's hopes for Europe for a little bit here. Right now, they're above the Milan clubs. They are in 5th place. And they 6 points clear of Milan. That's a big thing. And they got 3 more games to play. They got Milan, which is next. That's going to be a very tough game. And they got Empoli and Chievo, 2 beatable teams. They can potentially make Europe, and they are favorites to make it in the Europa League. What do you think?
Yeah, they probably will. I don't really have a strong opinion.
I just hope they don't pull us a swallow here in Vienna, because that'd be bad.
Yeah, that would be bad.
Let's see what else. Spal. We didn't talk about Spal. They were supposed to win today. They were supposed to get promoted to Serie A.
They're screwing up my mojo. I have so many tweets set. Funny tweets at that for when Spal gets promoted, but they still didn't get promoted again. Got to wait another week.
Yes, and the last thing I want to talk about is a Capocannoniere race. We knew Dzeko scored a brace today, so he tops the chart. He has 27 goals. Belotti has 25. Icardi 24 with Higuain also have 24. With Mertens too, there's a triple on that. And Immobile with 22 goals.
It's so tight.
It is tight.
I want Belotti to win.
I want Belotti to win, but it's going to be tough. Dzeko scored a brace today. And Belotti hasn't been scoring. I think he hasn't scored in the past 4 or 5 games.
I don't care. I mean, I want Belotti to win. I don't want Dzeko to win for sure. I'd much rather Belotti win, a young Italian guy. When's the last time we had an Italian freaking there? But you forgot one thing that I want to say. Trapponi's goalkeeper, what a legend he is.
That's right.
For running through the entire defense. Trapani, a team that was almost in Serie A, now they were close to getting relegated to Serie C. They're just going to stay in Serie B. This guy is like, it's like when you're playing FIFA, you're winning 4-0, and you're like, you know what, screw it. You want to embarrass the other guy, so you dribble with your goalkeeper, and you realize you got so much further than you ever expected to be.
No, I agree. That was an amazing run, but I got mad that he passed it. Instead of taking a nice shot from outside the box, he passed it and just ran back to so they don't concede. Just in case.
Imagine he loses the ball there, and then they score like a half-field shot. That would be beautiful. It'd be good for IFTV's Instagram. Would have gotten a lot of likes on that one. But yeah, that is everything that happened in the Serie A and in Italian football in general. Started to change up the format a little bit. Give a quicker recap and then a more in-depth for those hardcore Serie A fans who crave that content in English. The reason we started this channel, just to give a voice to us, give promotion. You know, we're talking about how Serie A is not always respected. So many young talents here, so much coaches, and there's no promotion to it, so that's why we're here. We're trying to give that voice. So yeah, let us know what you think about that. Let us know if you like us getting guests on, and just overall the format that we're having.
No, for sure. And we probably missed something because, you know, it was a long weekend for the Serie A. So if we missed something, I'll say in the comments below, I think we missed something.
And not only if we missed something, but also just give your thoughts on everything we had to say. We love getting this community going. You know, that really helps us if you are jumping in on the comment section. Let's get a conversation going. So let's do that. Thank you, as always, for watching. Start your week well. Hope you enjoy, and we'll talk to you soon.
Ciao,
ragazzi. Subscribe to our channel.